In the sleepy town of Pine Hollow, Georgia, where everyone knows your name and secrets are hard to keep, a loving wife's desperate plea shattered the summer calm of 2019. A man was gone, his pickup truck abandoned, his phone dead. But was this a tragic accident or a carefully staged lie? Welcome to Family Crime Files, where we unravel the chilling truth behind the perfect small-town facade. This is the story of a betrayal so shocking it'll leave you questioning who you can trust. Before we jump into this twisted tale, tell us where you're tuning in from in the comments below. And if this story grabs you, make sure you're subscribed to Family Crime Files, because tomorrow we've got something extra special waiting for you. If it's hooking you already, hit that like button to let us know. On a sweltering July afternoon in 2019, in the quiet farming town of Pine Hollow, Georgia, the calm of small-town life was shattered. Sarah Miller, her face pale and eyes red from crying, burst into the county sheriff's office, her voice trembling with panic. She reported that her husband, John Miller, had vanished. According to Sarah, the night before, around 8 p.m., John had hopped into his brand-new pickup truck to head to a gas station in the nearby town of Willow Creek to grab some beer. But by 10 p.m., he hadn't returned. Sarah said she'd texted and called him over 30 times. At first, no one picked up. Then, his phone went dead. Pine Hollow, nestled among sprawling cornfields and winding country roads, was the kind of place where folks left their doors unlocked and neighbors knew each other's business. Life here revolved around farming, church potlucks, and Friday night bonfires. John Miller, a middle-aged farmer, was a familiar face in town, a quiet, hard-working guy who never caused trouble. By day, he tended to his crops. In the evenings, he'd head to the local bar to play darts or catch a game with buddies. He rarely left Pine Hollow, and according to neighbors, John didn't have an enemy in the world. So his sudden disappearance without a trace sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community, leaving everyone wondering, where was John Miller? The disappearance of John Miller sent Pine Hollow into a frenzy. The county sheriff's office didn't waste a moment, assembling a search team that included deputies, a K-9 unit, and dozens of local volunteers, farmers, neighbors, even the volunteer fire department. They fanned out across the area, combing the dusty back roads leading to Willow Creek, scouring the cornfields, the edges of the nearby pine forest, and the banks of local creeks. Hours ticked by under the blazing Georgia sun, but there was no sign of John. No pickup truck, no phone, not even a scrap of clothing to suggest whether he was alive or had met with foul play. The air at the sheriff's office grew heavy with tension. Sarah Miller, John's wife, kept calling, her voice a mix of worry and impatience, pressing for updates. "Have you found anything? Please, I need to know," she'd say, her tone frantic. But the search turned up nothing. No clues, no leads, no John. Then on July 5, 2019, 2 days after Sarah reported John missing, she rushed back to the sheriff's office with a bombshell. She claimed she'd found John's pickup truck abandoned under an old bridge near the hamlet of Clearview, on a lonesome road connecting Pine Hollow to Willow Creek. The bridge was a quiet spot, rarely used, especially at night, tucked away among overgrown weeds and forgotten fields. When deputies arrived at the scene, they found the truck parked neatly, its kickstand down, keys still in the ignition. Strangest of all, there wasn't a scratch on it. No skid marks, no signs of a crash, nothing to suggest an accident. The area around the truck was just as pristine. No blood, no footprints, no personal items belonging to John. The deputies exchanged uneasy glances. Something about this scene felt off, too clean, too staged. Could someone have placed the truck there on purpose? The discovery of John's pickup wasn't the breakthrough they'd hoped for. It was a puzzle that hinted at something far more sinister. The discovery of John Miller's pickup truck under the Clearview Bridge didn't bring the sheriff's team any closer to finding him. It only deepened the mystery. The truck's pristine condition, parked so neatly with the keys still in the ignition, raised red flags. There were no skid marks, no signs of a struggle, no trace of an accident. The deputies quickly concluded that the scene wasn't the site of a mishap. It was a deliberate setup, designed to mislead. This wasn't a missing person case anymore. It was looking like something far darker. The investigation shifted gears, with the sheriff's team now treating John's disappearance as a potential crime. They scoured the truck for evidence, dusting for fingerprints, collecting stray hairs, and searching for any biological traces. But the vehicle was almost too clean. Eerily so. The only fingerprints found belonged to John himself, which only fueled the deputies' suspicions that someone had meticulously wiped down the truck to cover their tracks. They expanded their search around the bridge, combing through the tall grass, the creek bed, and the nearby dirt road, but still found no clues. No blood, no clothing, no sign of John. Attention turned to Sarah Miller, John's wife, who had found the truck and was calling the sheriff's office relentlessly for updates. Her frantic demeanor seemed genuine, but something about her behavior didn't sit right with the deputies. Just 3 days before John vanished, on June 30th, 2019, Sarah had called the sheriff to report that their pets, 2 dogs and a cat, had been poisoned in their backyard. In Pine Hollow, where folks rarely bothered the authorities over such things, this stood out. Sarah claimed John was shaken by the incident, insisting she report it because he feared it was a warning from some unknown enemy. But when deputies revisited the Miller home to investigate, they found no signs of a break-in or vandalism, no evidence anyone from outside had tampered with the property. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you're gripped by this chilling case, subscribe to Family Crime Files. It means a lot to us. And let us know in the comments. Do you think Sarah's story holds up, or is she hiding something? If this twist has you hooked, hit that like button and share this video with your friends to see what they think. The deputies dug deeper into Sarah's actions. Her decision to report John missing just 15 hours after he left home, before even checking with neighbors or friends, felt unusually hasty for a small town where people often sorted things out themselves first. Stranger still, Sarah admitted to texting John before calling him, despite neighbors saying the couple rarely texted, living under the same roof and seeing each other daily. Why, in a moment of panic, would she text instead of calling right away? The sheriff's team began to peel back the layers of John and Sarah's marriage. They'd been married for over a decade, but neighbors hinted it wasn't all smooth sailing. John had grumbled to buddies at the bar about Sarah staying out late some nights, coming home without much explanation. Yet no one in Pine Hollow had ever seen Sarah with another man. The deputies wondered, was Sarah's story unraveling, or was there more to John's life they didn't know? With suspicions mounting around Sarah Miller, the Pine Hollow Sheriff's Office widened their net, looking beyond the small town for answers to John Miller's disappearance. The staged truck scene under the Clearview Bridge had the deputies convinced someone was trying to throw them off the trail, and Sarah's inconsistent behavior, her rushed report, the odd texting habit, the pet poisoning, made her a focal point. But the investigation took a sharp turn when a new name surfaced. Ethan Carter, a 35-year-old construction worker from Macon, about 40 miles from Pine Hollow. Traffic camera footage revealed Ethan had been making late-night trips to Pine Hollow on his motorcycle, often staying until 1 or 2 a.m. before heading back. While no one had seen him with Sarah directly, his visits coincided with areas near the Miller home, close enough to raise eyebrows. The deputies wondered, was Ethan connected to John's disappearance? They tracked him down to his home in Macon, only to learn from his wife that Ethan had left town on May 4, 2019, claiming he was taking their son to a doctor in Atlanta. A check of bus station records confirmed Ethan had bought a ticket to Atlanta that day, just 2 days after John vanished. But the real breakthrough came when deputies searched Ethan's motorcycle, left at the Macon bus station. Tiny specks of blood were found on the handlebars. When tested, the blood matched John Miller's DNA. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if this shocking twist has you on the edge of your seat, subscribe to Family Crime Files. It means the world to us. Drop a comment below. Do you think Ethan's the key to this case, or is there more to uncover? Hit that like button if this clue blew your mind, and share this video with your friends to see if they can guess what's next. This was the biggest lead yet. Ethan Carter became the prime suspect, and the sheriff's office issued a warrant for his arrest. They tracked him down in Atlanta, where he was hiding out. During questioning, Ethan was visibly rattled and quickly cracked under pressure, admitting he was involved in John's death. According to his initial statement, he and Sarah had met 3 years earlier through a dating app while both were working in Savannah. Sarah at a diner, Ethan on a construction site. As fellow small-towners, they bonded quickly. Sarah confided that her marriage to John was loveless, and she dreamed of leaving him for Ethan. But neither had the courage to act on it. When they returned to their hometowns, they kept their affair alive through secret messages on the app. Ethan admitted to sneaking into Pine Hollow at night, meeting Sarah at her house when John was out playing darts or watching football at the local bar. To avoid detection, Ethan had poisoned the Millers' pets, the dogs and cat that barked whenever he showed up. The confession painted a chilling picture, but it was only the beginning of the truth. Ethan Carter's confession sent shockwaves through the Pine Hollow Sheriff's Office, turning a missing person case into a murder investigation. Ethan admitted to his affair with Sarah Miller and his role in John Miller's death, but his story seemed carefully crafted, as if he were holding back or shielding someone else. He claimed that on the night of May 2, 2019, his plan to sneak into the Miller home went horribly wrong. John, who was supposed to be out playing darts at the local bar, came home early and caught Ethan in the house. Enraged, John confronted him, shouting, "Who the hell are you and what are you doing here?" A scuffle broke out. John tackled Ethan, landing heavy punches as Ethan tried to flee. In the chaos, Sarah appeared, clutching a baseball bat from the garage. To protect Ethan, she swung it at John's head, knocking him out cold. The blow proved fatal. Ethan's account was detailed but felt incomplete, as if he were downplaying his own guilt while pointing the finger at Sarah. The deputies weren't ready to take his word at face value. They needed concrete evidence. Ethan claimed that after John's death, he and Sarah panicked and decided to dispose of the body. They loaded John's body into his own pickup truck and drove 10 miles to a secluded reservoir outside Pine Hollow. There, they tied a heavy cinder block to John's legs with rope and dumped him into the water, hoping the depths would hide their crime forever. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if this chilling confession has you gripped, subscribe to Family Crime Files. It means the world to us. Drop a comment below. Do you believe Ethan's story, or is he covering for Sarah? Hit that like button if this twist shocked you, and share this video with your friends to see if they can unravel this case. The sheriff's office acted swiftly, organizing a dive team and search unit to scour the reservoir. After hours of grueling work under the murky water, the divers found a body bound with rope and weighed down by a cinder block tied to its ankles. The remains were hauled to shore and identified as John Miller through his clothing and physical features. The coroner's report confirmed the cause of death: severe blunt force trauma to the head, with multiple blows concentrated on the skull. The injuries matched Ethan's story of Sarah's attack with the bat. The body also showed rope marks and scratches, indicating it had been moved after death. These findings not only backed up Ethan's confession, but provided critical physical evidence to build a case against both him and Sarah. With John Miller's body recovered from the reservoir, the Pine Hollow Sheriff's Office had the evidence they needed to confirm a murder. But the question remained: just how deeply was Sarah Miller involved? Ethan Carter's confession pointed to her as the one who delivered the fatal blows, but the deputies needed more than his word to pin her as the mastermind. They turned their focus back to the Miller home, determined to uncover any trace of the crime that had taken place there. The sheriff's team returned to the house with forensic equipment and a K-9 unit trained to detect the scent of blood. Despite Sarah's efforts to clean the place spotless, the high-tech gear picked up something chilling: tiny traces of blood, too small to see with the naked eye, were found on the living room floor and in the backyard near the garage. Samples were sent to the state crime lab, and the results were undeniable. The blood belonged to John Miller. This confirmed that John hadn't been attacked on the road, as Sarah had implied, but right in his own home. Digging deeper, the deputies searched the garage and found a baseball bat tucked away among a pile of tools. Though it had been wiped down carefully, forensic analysis revealed faint traces of blood on the wood. DNA testing confirmed it was John's blood, matching Ethan's description of the murder weapon Sarah used. This was the smoking gun. The bat tied Sarah directly to the killing, proving she wasn't just an innocent bystander, but an active participant in her husband's death. To solidify their case, the deputies combed through Sarah's phone records. Though she and Ethan used an encrypted messaging app to hide their affair, older texts to a close friend sent months earlier painted a damning picture. In one message, Sarah complained about feeling trapped in her marriage, writing, "John's suffocating me. I'm stuck in this town, in this life. I need a way out." While the text didn't explicitly mention murder, they revealed a motive, an emotional desperation that suggested Sarah had been planning to escape her marriage long before John's death. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if this shocking evidence has you hooked, subscribe to Family Crime Files. It means the world to us. Drop a comment below. Do you think Sarah planned this all along, or was it a crime of passion? Hit that like button if this case is blowing your mind, and share this video with your friends to see if they can spot the lies. One final piece of evidence sealed Sarah's fate. Security footage from the Macon bus station where Ethan had left his motorcycle showed him arriving not alone, but with a woman wearing a baseball cap and a face mask. Her build and movements matched Sarah's, and the deputies suspected she'd gone with Ethan to help him flee before returning to Pine Hollow to play the grieving wife. Confronted with this footage, Ethan admitted Sarah had accompanied him to the station, orchestrating his escape while she continued her act. On May 10, 2019, just a week after Sarah reported John missing, the sheriff's office arrested her. During questioning, Sarah held firm at first, sobbing and insisting she was innocent, just a heartbroken wife searching for her husband. But when the deputies laid out the evidence, the blood in her home, the bat, the bus station footage, her story began to crumble. With a mountain of evidence piling up, blood in her home, a blood-stained baseball bat, and damning bus station footage, Sarah Miller's facade as the grieving wife was crumbling. Under intense questioning at the Pine Hollow Sheriff's Office, she initially clung to her story, tears streaming down her face as she insisted she knew nothing about John's death. "I just wanted him home," she sobbed. But when the deputies laid out the irrefutable proof, from the blood traces to her presence with Ethan at the Macon bus station, Sarah's defenses broke. She began to confess, revealing a story of forbidden love, desperation, and a calculated crime that stunned even the seasoned investigators. "I met Ethan 3 years ago, back in 2016, when we were both working in Savannah. I was a waitress at a diner, scraping by, and he was on a construction crew nearby. We connected on a dating app. Nobody in Pine Hollow uses those, but in the city, it felt normal. We were both from small towns, so we hit it off right away. Ethan was funny, kind, nothing like John. He'd ask about my day, what I loved, what I dreamed of. For the first time in years, I felt seen. Our weekends were magical, grabbing milkshakes at cheap diners, strolling through parks, or just talking on a bench until midnight. Ethan wasn't some Hollywood heartthrob, but his warm eyes and the way he listened made me feel special. He'd talk about his life, his loveless marriage back in Macon, his dreams he never chased. I saw myself in him, trapped, just like me. Things got serious fast. When he held my hand, my heart raced like I was a teenager again. He said he wanted a future with me, and I wanted that too, even though I knew it was wrong. When we both moved back to our hometowns, I thought it was over. But Ethan wouldn't let go. We kept talking through the app, using secret accounts so no one would find out. He'd ride his motorcycle to Pine Hollow 40 miles, just to see me, sneaking in after John went to the bar or a football watch party. I'd leave the back door unlocked and we'd steal moments in the dark, whispering, holding each other like the world outside didn't exist. But every time Ethan left, I crashed back to reality. Back to John, back to a life I hated. Don't get me wrong, John wasn't a bad guy. He worked hard, never drank too much, never laid a hand on me. But he was like a robot. Wake up, work the farm, eat dinner, head to the bar or a bonfire. He never asked how I felt, if I was happy or tired. Once I bought a new dress, hoping he'd notice. He just glanced at it and said, "Why waste money on that?" After that, I stopped trying to please him. John wasn't cruel, but he made me feel invisible. I thought that's just how marriage was in Pine Hollow, until Ethan showed me I deserved more. What drove me crazy was John's quiet control. He never forbade me from going out, but if I was gone too long, he'd ask, "Where were you? Who'd you see?" His voice was calm, but his eyes screamed suspicion. One time, I lingered at the grocery store chatting with a friend, and he gave me the cold shoulder all night like I'd betrayed him. It pushed me closer to Ethan. I'd vent to Ethan about John, how he didn't care, how he didn't deserve me. On May 2nd, 2019, we planned to meet like always. John said he'd be at the bar for darts, so I figured we had time. Ethan showed up around 9 p.m., sneaking through the backyard. We were in the living room when John burst through the door. He'd come home early. His face went white when he saw Ethan. "Who the hell is this guy?" he yelled, lunging at him, grabbing his shirt and throwing punches. I screamed for John to stop, but he wouldn't listen. Ethan tried to run, stumbling into the backyard, but John chased him, beating him mercilessly. I don't know what came over me. I saw Ethan, the man I loved, getting hurt, and I couldn't stand it. I ran to the garage, grabbed a baseball bat we kept for home defense, and swung it at John's head. He dropped, but I didn't stop. All the years of feeling trapped, ignored, poured out. I kept swinging until he wasn't moving. Blood was everywhere. I froze, realizing what I'd done. Ethan was shaking, but I told him we had to cover it up, or we'd both go to prison. He helped me clean the blood from the backyard and drag John's body to the garage. That night, we took his pickup truck and drove to the reservoir 10 miles away. I tied a cinder block to John's legs with rope, and Ethan helped me push him into the water, praying it would stay hidden. The idea to stage the truck under the Clearview Bridge was mine. I thought if the sheriff believed John was attacked on the road, they'd never suspect me. So I drove the truck there, parked it neatly, and left the keys in the ignition. I cleaned the house top to bottom, wiping every surface to erase the blood. I even reported the pet poisoning earlier to make it seem like John had enemies, hoping it'd throw the deputies off. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time. So if Sarah's chilling confession has you stunned, subscribe to Family Crime Files. It means the world to us. Drop a comment below. Do you think Sarah's remorse is real, or is she still playing a role? Hit that like button if this twist shook you, and share this video with your friends to see what they make of her story. Sarah's confession was a bombshell, laying bare the raw emotions and calculated moves behind John's murder. But the deputies suspected there was more to her motives than just a loveless marriage. Digging into the couple's finances, they uncovered a secret that cast Sarah's actions in a new light, one that would shock the entire town of Pine Hollow. Sarah Miller's confession laid bare the chilling truth behind John Miller's murder, but the Pine Hollow Sheriff's Office wasn't done digging. Beyond the emotional turmoil Sarah described, her feelings of being trapped in a loveless marriage and her affair with Ethan Carter, the deputies uncovered a darker motive. A dive into the couple's finances revealed that John had a substantial savings account from selling a portion of his family's farmland years earlier. If John died, Sarah stood to inherit it all, a sum large enough to start a new life with Ethan. Divorce, on the other hand, would have left her with nothing. This financial incentive explained why Sarah chose murder over leaving John, turning her story of passion into one of cold calculation. The case gripped Pine Hollow. a town where folks prided themselves on knowing their neighbors. The residents who had once seen John and Sarah as an ordinary couple, attending church potlucks, waving at Friday night bonfires, were stunned. Many had joined the initial search for John, combing fields and creeks, only to learn they'd been deceived by Sarah's tearful act. The betrayal cut deep, leaving the community reeling with disbelief and anger. By early 2020, after months of meticulous evidence gathering, the case went to trial. Sarah Miller and Ethan Carter faced charges of murder, concealing a body, and obstructing justice. In court, Sarah maintained a remorseful demeanor, sobbing as she apologized to John's family. "I got caught up with Ethan," she claimed, "and I lost control in a moment of panic." But the prosecution painted a different picture, arguing Sarah's actions were premeditated and ruthless, from planning the murder to staging the truck under the Clearview Bridge to mislead the sheriff's office. Ethan, meanwhile, garnered some sympathy from the public for not directly killing John. But his role in poisoning the pets, sneaking into the Miller home, helping dispose of the body, and fleeing to Atlanta made him far from innocent. During the trial, Ethan expressed regret, admitting he'd considered turning himself in, but was persuaded by Sarah to keep quiet. The jury deliberated, weighing the evidence. The blood in the Miller home, the baseball bat, the reservoir discovery, the bus station footage, and Sarah's own confession. Sarah was found guilty and sentenced to life without parole, a reflection of Georgia's justice system, where the death penalty, though legal, was reserved for rare cases. Ethan received a life sentence with the possibility of parole for his role as an accomplice and for concealing the crime. The verdicts brought closure to Pine Hollow, but the scars remained. Neighbors who once trusted Sarah felt betrayed, their small-town sense of security shattered. John, the quiet farmer who never harmed a soul, became a symbol of the hidden darkness that can lurk behind closed doors, even in a place as tight-knit as Pine Hollow. Thanks for watching this chilling tale of betrayal on Family Crime Files. Don't miss more stories like this. Hit that subscribe button now. Drop a comment below. Do you think Sarah's sentence was fair, or should she have faced a harsher punishment? Give us a like if this case kept you glued to the screen, and share it with your friends to see what they think of this small-town tragedy. Head to our playlist to dive into more shocking cases you haven't heard yet.